Welcome back to the Thinking Big podcast. I'm your host, Sean Osborne, and today we have an incredible episode lined up for you. And if you're looking to elevate your content creation game and take your audio and video to the next level, you are in the right place today. Our guest today is Jason Belisha, an exceptionally talented individual who has transformed his artistic roots into entrepreneur gold. Jason began his life as an artist, actor, and musician, and as it turns out, the mindset, skills, and ethics required for a career in the arts are uniquely transferable to entrepreneurship. Jason is now an online course creator and digital marketing consultant living in Austin, Texas. And in this episode, we're going to dive deep into Jason's journey from the arts to entrepreneurship, and he shares his insights on how you can enhance your audio and video content. So if you're creating any content, this is such a great episode for you. And we're going to cover everything from the importance of presentation and effort to really practical tips on lighting and sound. Plus, Jason is going to reveal one of his secrets on using teleprompters effectively and creating high-quality content without breaking the bank. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a content creator, or just looking to improve your online presence, this episode is packed with actionable advice that you will not want to miss. So stay tuned because Jason is about to drop some serious knowledge bombs that could transform the way you create content. So let's get started.
Welcome to the Thinking Big podcast with Sean Osborne, the show helping you think bigger into your life and potential. Sean believes by equipping you with the tools, strategies, and philosophies required to be successful in all aspects of your life, you can achieve anything you believe in. Empowering our own growth makes a deeply positive and lasting impact on our lives, community, and our world. Now, here's Sean.
Hey, Thinking Big listeners, this episode is brought to you by The Secrets of Success. This community is designed for individuals who seek more than just fleeting motivation and are ready to actively pursue their goals with certainty without sacrificing fulfillment. If you are not just content with liking motivational content, but are committed to becoming the change you wish to see in this world, it offers a blend of historical wisdom, practical application, and a supportive community for personal and professional growth. Just click on the link in the show notes to get more information. Jason, welcome to the Thinking Big podcast. I am so thrilled to have you here.
Thank you for having me on.
One of the reasons I wanted to get you on is I like getting people who do other coursework, that do courses and that are entrepreneurs like me, and being able to really talk and really learn things from each other. But before we really get into that, one of the other things I want you to do is possibly critique my audio video, because that's everyone here. That's what we're here for. We're here for his audio video. He is a genius when it comes to getting people set up for doing coursework, for doing really anything online, especially for me, especially coursework is where the stuff that you do really comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you want a private critique, that's going to have to come later. I wouldn't roast you on your own show, but you're looking amazing. I see you. I hear you. Looks like you put effort into your appearance, which makes me feel better about being with you. Honestly, that's what it's all about. Just showing effort. Showing effort.
And I do think there is a bit before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about your background. And this is coming into it from being an entrepreneur and from creating courses, but you come from an artistic background. And I think from an entrepreneur standpoint, especially doing courses or anything like that, but from an entrepreneur standpoint, I think it is very big to come from that sort of a background, an artistic background. I think there is a level of, imagination, or a level of being able to go outside the box, scribble outside the box that you wouldn't normally have, I think, if you don't have some sort of an artistic background. Then again, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. That's kind of why we're entrepreneurs. But what is your background? How did you get into doing like some of the coursework that you do?
I love that you brought this up because inherently, I think everyone's an artist, especially entrepreneurs. They don't maybe label themselves as that or realize that, but they are. And I do think artists would make great entrepreneurs if they would just change their mindset. So the story of how I did that, I guess, was it's hard to know how far back to go. But basically, I have a degree in sculpture. I've been a professional drummer my whole life. So around age 27, I was doing voiceovers at home. That was my main method of income, also photography. So around that time, my band that I was in signed a record deal. It was actually kind of a pretty big record deal. And I was thinking like, okay, it's a good opportunity, but it doesn't pay a lot. I need to make some money on the side. And the only option I could think of was like, I've heard about this online course thing where I can just basically teach people what I do through a series of videos. So it's really scalable. I can make it affordable and just like run ads or guide traffic or I just learn everything I can about that. So it took me about 6 months to make my first launch of my first voiceover course. And it did what it did. And there was a lot of running back and forth trying to like scale it and make it actually work. And it wasn't until I really bought like a very, very expensive coaching program that got me to the numbers that I never had imagined for myself before. So it was kind of a gun to my head, kind of like a time limit where like, if you don't get this passive income thing working, you're not touring with your band. So I needed that. And ironically, right when it was, the band was ready to tour and everything, that's when COVID came up. And now I'm just, at that point, I was just stuck with a passive income stream and nowhere to go. So I just doubled down on the coursework and entrepreneurship and changed my network and actually grew more into this than that.
That's amazing. And again, most of the people that are listening right now with this, they're entrepreneurs. They're people who are creating courses. They're people who are doing that. And I think that every single person in this world has a gift or has something that they can teach somebody else. As long as you're 2 steps or 1 step ahead of somebody, you can help somebody else out. And you can help them, instead of it taking a year, take 2 months. Instead of taking 10 years, take a year. So to me, it's our job as human beings to literally help people out and help people move further, faster with what we know and what we do. We don't have to be some huge company to create something that helps somebody out. So hats off to you.
Thank you. And I completely agree. It's like the way I like to say what you just said is if you're like 5% or 1% ahead of 99% of people, you can sell like $100 info product to 100,000 people and become a millionaire. It's like you only need to be slightly ahead, and you don't need authority to do that. You just assume authority by having good information and knowing in your heart that this is really good, this will help, this is not BS, this is not going to hurt people, this is going to help people. By providing that to us, it's kind of your duty. As course creators, as mentors, like we're kind of like the elders and scribes of our generation, of this century, of this millennia. And they had a job and we have the same job. It's kind of oral tradition. It's kind of just like that. So we're just helping people get ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we do it, and it really doesn't take that much. So again, when I'm working with some of my course creators and some of the people that I work with, it's like people, until they sit down and look at numbers, they don't really understand. It's like, if you sell to just 2,000 people, a low ticket, like a $500 ticket item, people don't realize. They go, oh, $2,000 at 500, that's $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
People, 2,000 people at just a $500, which is, it's not a high ticket item. It's not a, extremely low ticket item. It's average ticket for,
mid-ticket.
Kind of a course, it's mid ticket stuff, but it really adds up very quickly. It doesn't take a lot to really grow your business and to really be able to do this as a living or as a really good side hustle while you're doing other things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you get good feedback initially at low scale and people are enjoying your product and your refund rate is low and people seem to be getting actual value from it, it'll work at a higher scale. You just find different ways to run traffic to it. And you'll make $1 million as someone who's never done anything like that before. You don't need a giant infrastructure. You don't need a giant team. It's pretty available to all of us. Yeah.
And doing courses, so looking at courses themselves, and I think there's a time, if we're gonna go through this, and I'm going to build a course, and I'm gonna take the time to do this. I want to really help people out. A lot of people will come in and say, "Oh, you can You can do it on your iPhone. You can, you can do it on one of these little, I've got this little Osmo Pocket 3, which is a fantastic thing for a run and shoot. And just, I took this to Turkey. We were just talking. I took this to Turkey with a wireless microphone, and that's what I used on the road. But if we're building courses and we're building something that we've got to show some level of authority. And it's not just the equipment that we have, it's how we show up, it's how you present yourself. But there is a level, I think, of quality of expectation of people now. If they're going to spend $100 on a course, they don't want to, I hate to say this, and tell me if I'm wrong, but they don't want to see someone that's just sitting there with a bad camera, bad microphone, and it's not really set up. And it's like, they're not going to me, they're either not going to sell or they're not going to have happy customers, because it just doesn't relay the message of what they're doing, I think.
Which metaphor should I use? It's like, if you order a meal, why do we care about presentation points? When you're presenting your information to people or you're selling, God, if you're selling to people, it's like, if you're not going to take the time to put your resources together and present yourself to me in a deliberate and meaningful way, why should I meet you halfway? It's about looking resourceful, looking like you have your shit together so good that you can afford this outward appearance. You can afford to at least hire someone or find some resource to make this work. Because again, another metaphor I use is okay, if I invite you into my house and, I tell you to make yourself comfortable and everything's kind of just crappy, it's hard to settle in. It's distracting. It's not a good experience you're giving people. So that's why it's about not being distracting, also looking authoritative. It's kind of about all of that. Look, if you really held me down, I'd be like, yes, sure, you can shoot with your iPhone. You can. But what about the pride you take in what you do? Doesn't that make a difference to you? If you're going to record it once for the money, this one's for the money. This one's for the big audience. I don't ever want to do it again. I want to script it. I want it on a teleprompter. I want to say everything I mean to say, and I want to just emblazon it in this beautiful image. Wouldn't you just want to do it the best you possibly can and look amazing? I would.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, absolutely. And so I get comments from people sometimes. It's like, well, I would rather be authentic than to have a nice setup. And I'm like, you can be authentic and look professional at the same time. Being authentic has nothing to do with what you record on. You can be authentic in both. Again, to me, there's a time for the run and gun shoot stuff.
Sure.
Shorts. If I'm out doing little shorts, doing things, but I'm not going to want to record a course on this. It's just not. It really just doesn't show what I want to portray as me, as my company.
If you're asking people to sit there for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour on a webinar, or for 8, 10, 12 hours on your course, and you're going to ask them to look at you with your screeching audio, it's about respect, I think. And speaking of authenticity, if I were being authentic, this is the image of me that I want you to see. This is how I see myself in my mind. I feel like a professional. I feel like I really deserve to look this way. That's authentic. I don't have to dumb down my quality to make it okay, to make you feel better or relatable. I just don't buy it.
I truly think that is again, you don't have to have really expensive equipment. You can have just some decent level of stuff to get a very good quality. And again, it's how you show up. It's how you come on screen, how you do things that really portrays. But there is a way to do it, to me, most effectively. People asking me how I set up my little studio, how I do this. I am the wrong person to ask because, one, I'm a tech geek. So it's like I buy shit just to buy shit. I've got 25 different mics around here. I've got, 7 different cameras. Don't ask me because I just buy shit.
We would be friends.
Just because I'm just a tech gadget. I love doing things. So it's like, I've got, microphones, shotgun microphones for when I'm doing videos. I've got, microphones for podcasting. But you don't need all of that But don't ask me, because I'll say, yeah, you need 5 different cameras. And you just really don't, And I think some of the stuff that I've seen with you is you're teaching people with one of your courses. Again, we got into that you are a course creator. This is kind of what you do. You're an entrepreneur, a course creator, and one of your courses is teaching people how to use audio and video, to me, in the best possible way, in the most efficient way. And again, that's why I really wanted to bring you on here. It's because I don't know these things. I know my audience really wants to know, what are some of the things that we can do as course creators, or even just entrepreneurs doing online videos for things like ads or anything that we want, or just our online presence. What are some of the things that we need to look at, or we need to do to look a little bit better, but without maybe breaking the bank?
Right. So a little backtrack on how I got started in this. I know my story left off at voiceover course. So since I was hanging out with other entrepreneurs, people who make courses, I was showing them my ads, my webinar, and they're like, how do you look like professional like that? Did you hire a video crew? I'm like, no, it's just stuff I have at home. I'm a photographer. I do voiceovers. Like, I know audio, video. They're like, you got to show me how to do that. And the light bulb went off. I'm like, okay.
Bing.
Okay. Yes.
That's the entrepreneur.
Right? Okay. Oh, here's a problem to solve.
That's the entrepreneur.
Yeah. Like, okay,
Yep.
Smart, wealthy people, or just smart, resourceful people want to learn this skill. And that's the cool thing about course creation. It can be a novel idea just by virtue of who it's for. Because there are other filmmaking courses all over YouTube and ads and stuff. They're for filmmakers. But entrepreneurs don't want like 75% of the information in that course. They want something that's tailored to them. So I knew that I had to create the course that is the most efficient way to film yourself. There are budget options, so it can be just on an iPhone. And again, to answer your question, what's one of the most important things you can do right away? Light. Light makes a bigger difference than the camera. If you got your lighting correct, you would make a bigger impact on an iPhone than if you got a more expensive camera and had the same lighting, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
The camera only sees what you put in front of it. It only sees light and shade and color. So your light will affect what light and shade and color is presented to the camera sensor. And it can't lie. So if you just get yourself lit better, any camera, even your phone, will see you clearer. So that's one thing. And in my course, I show how to manipulate your lighting for an iPhone, for a regular camera, and I wouldn't exceed $1,000 on a camera body. This is not just because you have money doesn't mean you need to blow it. So, there are boundaries around how we spend money, and will it get us the most bang for the buck, not only for the quality, but for the workflow. There's a specific reason I choose specific microphones, because they have very unique inputs and outputs that allow it to be wireless and not require an audio mixer and other advantages like that.
Right.
So the lighting as well, you can plug them in with smart sockets and have them go on your Alexa Google system, so they're voice command now. So that stuff is all over the place. We don't even use those big soft boxes, because I was thinking, what would a busy entrepreneur want to build and use every day? So I built that.
And that's genius. And had I known about you like maybe 3 years ago, I would have saved probably $50,000. I'm sure it's like right now I'm going through, I think it's a Canon R5. It's just all this stuff I don't need, but again, I'm a tech geek.
It's toys, dude. I like toys too.
It's toys. So it's toys. So when people ask me, what do you use? I'm like, you don't want to know. No. It's like, this is not the right setup for most people. And again, it's just because that's just what I do. I like doing that. But I would not go out and buy my setup for what I do, because it's not practical for that. It's practical for a hobby, sure, but it's not practical for someone going in and wanting to record a video or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to save time and money, you wouldn't do it the way you did it. You would want something streamlined that's just already figured out for you. Just pick from this menu.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's great. And so what do you think about, like, for instance, right now I'm going through a teleprompter. Now, I'm not someone, like when I do my courses, I'm not someone who likes to most of the time read script. Like if I'm doing a course, I'll have like my PowerPoint up there, and I'll just kind of, I'll talk from that. Sometimes it'll be from script, but I use it mainly for like this podcast so I can look directly at you while I'm doing the interview, and I'm not looking down, I'm not looking up, I'm looking right at you. So that's mainly what I use a teleprompter for. What are your thoughts on like teleprompters and things like that for people to use?
I am such an advocate of teleprompters, and I get so much backlash because people are like, no, it's going to make me sound like a robot. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, you haven't seen the way I use a teleprompter. And first of all, I don't know where you found this eye contact feature or strategy. It's something I came upon myself, but I think it kind of like fire was discovered kind of in multiple places, and I'm seeing it more frequently now. So, I mean, what a hack, isn't it? It's great because I'm doing the same thing. So I can look right at you, and the rapport is there. I feel like I'm in the room with you. So that's much better.
And that's the thing. So it's like when I'm doing interviews, it's like I don't want to be looking at a different screen and saying, hey, how are you doing? It's like you just don't. Half of our communication is by our gestures, by our nonverbal, facial. It's all nonverbal. And it's like, so it's very important to do that. Yeah. So and there's a lot of different ways to do it too.
Totally. And I think, first of all, when you look at yourself with new lighting, you'll already feel better. Another thing that will make you perform better is the teleprompter, but not in the traditional sense. Most teleprompters we're used to seeing the words just constantly scroll, and you can't seem to get ahead of it. You're behind it. People fall into this sort of trance, and you can see their eyes kind of going around, and it sucks. Of course, it's a bad experience for you, bad for them. But what I use is a special app that is voice dictated. So it only scrolls when you speak. And if you stop, it stops. You can breathe, you can drink, you can go off script and come back. And that does 90% for most people. Just with that, they immediately turn on when they see the script instead of turn off. So the other step to that is, since it's voice dictated, it needs to be able to hear you. So usually your camera and your iPad, usually an iPad's running it, it's too far away from you, and your iPad can't hear you. So we have a way of wirelessly linking this microphone to not only your camera, but splitting the signal to also go into your iPad, so that controls that teleprompter device perfectly efficiently with no mistakes. So that's why, man,
that's
like
genius.
I took forever to figure out this shit for people so they don't have to think about it.
Yeah. No, I'm going through like 9 different mixers and hooking shit up left and right. And it's like, it's not efficient.
And more power to you, dude. I was like that too. You should have seen my room when I was making the course, testing all this stuff. Just like that.
And so the other thing that I always, especially not only for content, like for online content and courses and stuff, but especially for like podcasts, any audio. To me, audio is as important, if not more important, to the video, because I notice myself, if I'm watching something, it might have a bad video quality and I'll put up with it and I'll watch it and listen to it. But if it's got poor audio, I turn that off almost immediately. And it's like, that is another big thing that people don't realize. And this, again, the stuff that you talk about in your course is like, audio is a big deal.
Audio really is a big deal. And interestingly, the way I came at my creative freelance career was voiceover first. So I'm so tuned in to voices. It's like I listen to the voice before I listen to the words, in a way, if that makes sense. And I'm so used to hearing my own voice being recorded and manipulating that sound with EQ and noise gates and compressors and like getting sound to work. So I know when I get it right and it seems to make its way directly to my heart. And the message is unfurled from that. When there's good audio with no distractions, that's the thing. When you like good audio, you shouldn't even notice, right? Bad audio distracts. So when the audio is perfect, there's no distraction. There's no veil between the message and your heart, your mind. So that's when I know. And people know. Everyone knows. Everyone knows what good and bad audio is. If you can't tell, it's good.
And people will complain if you have bad audio, but they will not say anything if you have great audio. It's because they don't notice it. They don't see it. And there's so much, even again, video and audio, but there's so much with like microphones. I mean, with you doing voiceover, there's just so many things that I'm sure you go over. I know some of your course, but that you go over in your course, but like your room, how you set your room up, how you know, because you get in some rooms with some mics and it'll sound like you're in an echo chamber. You get in, you know, so you have to be able to get with a pro like you that knows what, because there might be a mic that sounds perfect. You might be on one right now that sounds absolutely fantastic, but if I took your same mic and I brought it into my room, it might sound like crap with my voice. Yeah. I mean, it's just, so it's you've got to, and unless you're going to spend like me, spend, waste, invest, however you want to look at it, lots of money with microphones, then it's very hard to, you know, I would have been so much better off if I would have just paid someone to come in and say, hey, set this up for me, look at my room, what do I need? So do you go into like any of like acoustics for a room or anything like that? I know you do. So one of the things that I've noticed with every one of your clients is the lighting and the backdrop and the sound is all extremely clear and extremely good. You've got the, you know, the vignette in the background. But everyone that I've seen your before and afters has a very, very good look. So I'm assuming you work with people on their room as well.
Yeah, actually doesn't take much, just a few strategic moves. And again, I know what a reasonable and resourceful person would do, what they would buy, what they would do. So I wouldn't ask anyone to glue or tape or drill anything into their walls. That's first of all. Honestly, what makes some of the biggest difference is just a rug. Just a really thick, shaggy rug will do a lot. Also, your mic choice. So most people, they wind up with like that Blue Yeti. And I don't know how it got so... I don't know how it got so popular. I know, dude. Because like, honestly, in the right conditions, it sounds fine. But it is it's a regular super cardioid mic. So that will pick up audio from 180 degrees around the grill. And so what do you think that's going to do? It's going to, again, pick up reverb and things from all over the place versus something like you have a dynamic mic or mine, a shotgun mic. It's more unidirectional. So that, just your microphone choice and like, I don't know, dude, lay a rug on the ground. Like it's pretty common sense, simple stuff. If you can get with it and understand the behavior of light and sound to a very simple, small extent, you'll make a lot smarter choices.
I use this Shure mic right here, not because I don't necessarily like the mic, but it's just convenient. It's easy. Again, I've got, a nice shotgun mic up here that I use, but I only use it for video when I don't want it to be on screen. But that's not necessarily the right thing to, I've noticed some of your videos where a lot of people are using the shotgun mic. That mic actually sounds way better than this Shure. This Shure's, again, I hate, but almost every podcaster you see has one of these damn Shures, and it's really not that great of a microphone. It's decent,
kind of
but
a trophy.
It's not really a great microphone. So I'm your client. What are 2 or 3 things that you see right now? Move to my shotgun mic, change my lighting, change my background. What are a few things that, just looking at this saying, Sean, this is, you could use some improvement here.
Okay. Is your question about outer appearance or efficiency?
Outer appearance.
Outer appearance.
I'm never efficient.
Well, okay, we'll get to that another time then. That's just a private call between you and me. First of all, I think your 7B, I think it sounds great. I think that is actually one of the best sounding mics on the market. What's that over your head, the 416?
Yeah, it's a 416.
Okay.
Which is a fantastic mic. I love the mic.
Yeah, actually, that's the second most common mic used in voiceover. So it sounds great on the voice. I actually do it wrong. People yell at me because I have my shotgun on the screen in front of me. And it's actually completely wireless. So that's one thing. And it's being hidden by this plant. So even if you did give me a dig for having the mic on screen, well, you can't even see it. So your mic, I think any mic that's literally any microphone at all will sound 10 times better if you just get it closer to your mouth. The 7B, I can tell that's probably a good distance from you. You want it 2 to 4 inches, maybe 2 to 3 inches from the corner of your mouth. And I see you have it placed off to the side. That's exactly right. So we don't get plosives and annoying stuff. About your image, if I can take a good look, I think your lighting is a little bit undecided. It's not very deliberate. I think your key light is above you to your left slightly. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have a fill light operating on you?
Yeah, so I have an above light, and then I've got two lights coming in.
I'd like to see what happens if you kill the fill light on your left side. Can you do that right now?
On my left side?
Can we play?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's what. So if I go here, I can. Let me pull this up. Oop! I killed both of them.
I do want to see them isolated at some point.
Yeah, for some reason they're tied together. Don't know why they're.
Are you on the
together.
Amaranth system?
No.
Okay.
No. So these are just little Elgato lights.
Oh, the Elgato. So okay, so it's over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Amaranth is Bluetooth. Actually, what you have here is definitely more dramatic. You just turned off your. So you have 3 lights on you.
Yes, above and then 2. So I can adjust, the brightness.
Oh, so your main key light is directly above you?
Yes, so I've got 1 light directly above me.
I see. That's butterfly style. So I love butterfly lighting. It's just sometimes kind of a pain because you have to rig something overhead versus off to the side. Like a regular boom stand would do that, but I mean, it's in the course, but I wouldn't ask anyone to do that standard.
Right.
So your shadows, if you killed the fill lights, your shadows are going to wind up kind of under your cheek, under your chin, on both sides evenly. Because I love that butterfly look. It's dramatic, really pulls all the attention onto you and centers it in the middle of the screen. It's beautiful. So I think actually what I'd like to see is just both fill lights on, but very low, maybe like 10%. And it's all relative, so I don't know what 10% looks like, but.
Yeah, so I can do.
Because I think the issue you had before is you were filling all the shadows, but shadows show all the detail and topography. They show the shape of your face. See that? Already. I think you want a low-key background. I don't think you want that to be too bright, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So I think the point at where it's at now is cool. Otherwise, I would say raise your ISO and maybe keep your key light where it's at. I think you look balanced. I think you overall look a little low key. I think your key light could come up a little bit if you wanted to pop off your background a bit.
No, see, that's what I might see. I might actually end up getting some new toys out of this.
Oh no. I'd have to take a weekend to mess around over there. Okay, so get a Varipole and you would stick that, like, it's kind of like, the shower curtain rods that just kind of twist in the walls. Mm-hmm. So that would run across your entire ceiling, and then you can put a hair light behind you. I wouldn't recommend it off to the side, like with a key light. You see how my edge light is kind of off to the side?
Right.
Since you have butterfly lighting in front of you, I recommend putting it right behind you so it shines on the back of your head and both of your shoulders and just perfectly trims you off the background. That would make you look
nice.
You'd look like Super Saiyan. You'd look like superhero. It would really pop you off, trim you out. See how this trims me out?
Wow.
It would get you everywhere.
Wow.
I think
that makes perfect sense.
I think you should also come closer to me.
Sense.
Sean, I want you closer to me. I think this is a lot more personable. Also, your background, what f-stop are you at?
0.5. Yeah,
4.5?
I think I'm on like a 4.5. And the lens goes down to like a 2.8. So I could really get it down to, which is too much. I mean, that's like almost like a blurred background.
I'm on 1.8.
Oh, you think that'd be? Wow.
Because I have you have a zoom lens, right?
Yeah.
I'd get a prime. Figure out your favorite focal length and then buy the prime version of it.
And just do the prime version of it. I'm going to have to, I've got a few prime lenses too. I'll have to play around with that. See, this is fantastic. And so when you're working with people and you're doing this, you literally would have saved me hours of fiddle-faddling around, wasting time, trying to do different lights but here's the thing, you know what to look for. I would have never even looked at, maybe I should put a light behind me showing down to do the shoulders, do the hair. I would have never even looked at that. So it's not even just fiddle-faddling around for hours, but you know where to tap the hammer to get the fix.
Because it's a puzzle, dude. I like puzzles. And it's visual. And I mean, it's not only that I like to solve this puzzle for one person, I also like systems. Like, I'm an artist, I'm a creative, I channel, I splatter paint, but sometimes I architect. So the solution that I came up with is something that works for everyone. And there are contingencies and this doesn't work for me, my room is not that big and this and that. I considered everything. I know every FAQ, I've gotten it all. I've over 1,000 members. I've heard all the questions. We have all the results. So that's why I enjoyed creating a system that works for everyone. It's something that's like, I like to say I took a creative process and turned it into a standardized process. Because as much as I love loose ends and open borders and just kind of playing around with paints, I also like structure. And I like being able to produce repeatable results for people. I have like 2 reigns happening at the same time. It's kind of fun.
And I think that's, one of the things you said is very important. When you find someone who does good course, so if you're listening right now and you're looking at doing a course, you're looking at producing something like what he's done, know what you're doing. It's like you've spent so much time on your course and doing that and prepping for it and making sure that the right stuff is in there, that is what saves people time. That is what helps people out, is you knowing down to every nut and bolt what the best solution is for any situation. So that's where the value comes from on any of these courses, is when you can really, if you get a course with someone that is very reputable, that is good, you will no doubt save tons of time and money because you've done the work.
Thank you for recognizing and highlighting that, because I don't think I've ever said this on record because it's thankless and no one really cares, but I spent 9 months making that course full time. I spent 3 months just scripting the information, 90,000 words, which is like a book and a half, and the table of contents, and making sure that the information is presented in the right order, in the right way. And every sentence is such a good sentence that you only need to hear it once. In a 5-minute video, thank you, I understand now, move on. I took 9 months to make a 3-day course for you.
And it shows. But here's the thing, it shows. So not only does your course have longevity, but everyone I've seen on your course, and people listening right now, we're going to have everything in the show notes for you to go up there, but it's onscreenauthority.com, and you've got some free, you've got a free thing for a little tutorial for people to go through as well. We'll put all these links in the show notes, but it shows the work that you put in absolutely shows, because you'll see the people that are on there that have done your course, that have done what you've recommended. It is literally like amateur hour compared to pro hour. I mean, you can tell immediately that they have really upped their game for their courses, for their online content. And I don't think they spent that much time. I mean, you've got the system down to where they can do that within a week. They can get the stuff, do the week, maybe set a few things up, but you've got it down to where you can help people very quickly get to looking professional.
I think if you meet me in the middle and you watch everything and you're decently intelligent and can follow instructions, like our friend Doug did it in 3 days, like I said, 3 work days, and he doesn't understand cameras, still doesn't understand cameras. And he looks like a boss because I created that system, and he tucked his ego away and went through my system and then came out the other end with exactly the result that I promised. And I love to see that. I love, like a chef loves watching people eat their meals. I love watching people go through my process and coming out and saying, hey, you were right. I'm like, I know.
That's the beautiful thing. Why I like having other creators on the podcast is because it's for most of us that do these courses, sure, we want to make money. Sure, that's we're in business to make money, but there are children at the same time. It's like our courses are a part of us. It's not something, you didn't just go throw this together to go make some money. This is part of you, part of what's taken you years and years to learn and understand. It's part of you. It's not just some whimsical thing that you said, hey, yeah, look, I'm going to do this course.
You know what I tell people now? I'm not a businessman. I'm an artist. It doesn't make a difference. I'm just going to do work. Yep. I'm going to do great work. Yeah. That's all I got.
And you're creating. So to me, if you're creating and you're being creative, you're not just creating the same shit that someone else has done, but you're being creative. That is being an artist. You're not copying other people's art. You're being creative. You're looking at that and you're being, that creativity is what shows. That's really what makes all of our stuff different, is the creativity that we use. And again, coming from an artist background, it's absolutely necessary to have that creativity in us.
Yeah. I think a lot of artists will tell you, it's like, I'm not even making the work, man. I'm just stepping aside and doing my best to channel what needs to be there. It's like when Michelangelo set David free from the marble, right? He was already there. Yeah. And he just got out of the way. Yep. Not to compare myself to Michelangelo, but same kind of concept. I just want to make something great, and get myself out of the way.
And I truly want to thank you, Jason, for coming on the show to helping me, increase increase the way I'm going to look, the way I'm going to show up.
Thank you for your great questions and highlighting me and helping me make some discoveries about myself too. This has been a great experience. Thank you so much for having me on.